Mutualism, whose assumption is the denial of property, considered as assuetendi et abutendi, does not deny the possession, including personal, of the land, but is based on the idea that, being work the only source of all wealth, no one has a right except to what it has produced. Private property implies theft or illegitimate appropriation and generates despotism and the notion of legitimate state authority. Communism is oppression and servitude. It contradicts the free exercise of our faculties and our most intimate feelings. It rewards laziness and work, vice and virtue alike. The mutualism solution consists of the following: as Proudhon himself puts it, denies private property, which is the suicide of society, affirms individual possession, which is the condition of social life. The right to occupy the land must be equal for all. Thus, the number of owners varies, but ownership cannot be established. As all human work results from a collective force, all property becomes collective and undivided. Work destroys property. Since the value of a product results from the time and effort it costs, workers have equal wages. Products can only be bought for the sake of products, and since the condition of all change is equivalence, there is no place for profit and profit. Free association, which is limited to maintaining equality in the instruments of production and equivalence in all exchanges, is the only fair way to organize society economically. As a consequence, all government of man by man must disappear. The highest perfection of society consists in the synthesis of order and anarchy. Proudhonian mutualism is based on the association of producers and consumers who establish mutual exchange as the norm, that is, the exchange of an object for another equivalent, that is, for another whose production represents the same work. All changes are made from its cost price. Every producer has someone who wants to buy his products. No capital is needed to start the job. With profits suppressed, prices are reduced to a minimum and the capitalist mode of production disappears to give way to mutualism or association. In order to promote this great and, however, non-violent social change, Proudhon proposes precisely the creation of the People's Bank, which will have as its goal to promote free and mutual credit and the exchange of equivalent products among workers.
Anarcho-Collectivism by Bakunin adopted, in general, by anti-authoritarians or federalists within the First International. Bakunin, who, like Proudhon, rejects communism because he considers it linked to a Jacobin authoritarianism. He thinks, above all, of the followers of Babeuf, Cabet and Blanqui, is collectivist because he believes that it is essential to maintain the principle, from each according to his capacity, to each according to his merits. It assumes that the neglect of this norm would not only imply an injustice to the best workers but also a drastic decrease in the social product. According to the collectivist formula, the land and the instruments of production must be common, but the fruit of the work must be distributed in proportion to the effort and quality of each one's work. In this way, although under somewhat different modalities, the wage system is preserved. Collectivism, which the Social Democrats later adopted as an immediate goal and which the Bolshevik state claims to have implanted, although it is not difficult to see that there, on the one hand, there is no real correspondence between effort or merit and salary, and on the other there is no true property of the means of production, was soon the object of sharp criticism within the anarchist groups.
Libertarian communism or anarcho-communism or anarchic communism, whose main, although not the first, representative was Kropotkin. This was imposed especially from the 80s in France, in Italy since the 70s, in Spain only after the 900. His starting point is, from each according to his ability, to each according to his needs. The anarcho-communists aspire to completely abolish any form of wage earning. Not only the land and the means of production should be common, according to them, but also the product. The distribution criterion is given by the real needs of each member of society. Refuting the collectivists who consider it essential for justice that each worker receives a part of the product proportional to his own personal effort, the communists respond, through Kropotkin's mouth, any product, any economic good is, in reality, the the fruit of cooperation of all workers, both from their own country and abroad, both present and past. How can the part that corresponds to the effort and intelligence of each one be measured and segregated in the great mass of social wealth? Could the greatest effort and the greatest intelligence have created alone and without any help a part, even a tiny part, of that social wealth? On the other hand, when it comes to valuing the work of each according to the social cost of training the worker, as not only Ricardo and Marx, but also the anarcho-collectivists want, the anarcho-communists ask, how to calculate the production costs of the labor force without taking into account that perhaps a good worker costs society more than a craftsman or a professional, given the high number of workers' children killed by anemia and other social diseases. The discussions between collectivists and communists within the field of anarchism dominated the last 2 decades of the last century and even the first of the present. Anarcho-communism has to do with anarchism, not with the communism of Marxism or state.